Welcome back. Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And first off, I'd like to say thanks to Zelric who made this knife possible. And the knife I have in front of you today is the Knives Wisp. This knife comes in right around $245 at Blade HQ, and we're going to see if I think it justifies the price tag. So let's dive right into it. You have your standard drop point blade here with a nice deep hollow grind of S35 VN steel. You have a two-tone blade. You got your black primary bevels. Your primary bevels are black with your satin flats. You have the standard three lines that we does for their logo, I guess you'd say. And as you can see, you have no billboarding at all, which I love the way we does that. And you almost need a microscope to see the blade steel right there. That is tiny. Love it though. You have a nice elongated swedge, almost full length. And that swedge gives you a very, very nice, precise point for piercing, digging out splinters, whatever you want to do with it. Very, very nice. But you definitely not going to want to do any sort of prying with this because you will definitely snap off that tip. You can see right here you have a forward choil. I can use it as a forward finger choil, but it's more so a sharpening choil, which is done absolutely perfect. I love to see how they get it right. But if you have big fingers, I don't think it'll be a forward choil for you. I have a medium-sized hand, and it works just right for me. Flip it up right here. First off, you'll see nice and thin blade stock. Absolutely love to see that. It's an absolute dream to cut with this thing. You got that deep hollow grind. It zips through cardboard like it's not even there. Absolute performer here. And you can see there's jimping right here, but I'm guessing being that, let's see if I can get it to zoom in. See how it's kind of rounded at the points, and it's not really that deep. Plus you have this coating. It's pretty much for aesthetics. I don't get any traction whatsoever from it. Let's go back to these beautiful handle scales. You got titanium frame lock with this nice green anode with this carbon fiber inlay. Absolutely no voids in that carbon fiber that I can see. Very, very nicely done. They always do a good job of that. Nice and polished, so you get a lot of light dancing off that carbon fiber. Then you have the titanium anodized hardware that's done very, very nicely. Let's see, I got my Weeha bit. Zell shows this a lot, so I figured I'd show it. Oh, wait, they're using more than T6 right here. What is that, a T8? Now that's awesome. Yes, T8, and wow, absolutely no wiggle. That's a good hardware there. Love to see that. I hate T6. Very, very nice job. See, you got a nice generous lanyard hole. You have a overall nice slender package with a flipper tab that doesn't stick up that much. As you can see, when you put it in pocket, you can get around that flipper tab pretty easily. Let's see, and you have your Wii logo on the pivot, and you flip it over. You have that great Wii pocket clip that just works awesome for me. It has just enough ramp, and then with that carbon fiber, it slips in and out of the pocket nicely, but you have enough retention on there where I don't feel like it's going to slip out of my pocket. And yes, you have Torx hardware, people, with that nice blue anodization with the pivot collar around it like that. You can see you have your steel lock bar insert. That's the screw fart and the over travel built into that. Very, very clean looking design. Also, you have some very, very softened. Look at the radius they have along those scales. Very, very nice. It kind of reminds me of the way the Kaiser Wanderer is done. Very, very soft, comfortable in hand. You have a G10 backspacer with a geared pattern on there. The pocket clip is reversible. As you can see over here, you have that extra screw hole, so you can flip the pocket clip. So that's nice to know that lefties, you can use this as well. You can use it either way anyway. Let's see how that flipper action is. You can see that you have jimping on there. You have jimping for the light switch, and as you can see, you have jimping on the top for a push button. Nice action, rockets out there. And you got to think they had to dial this detail in pretty nicely because this is a very, very lightweight blade. And yeah, they nailed it, knocked it out of the park. You can light switch it, perfect. And you can push button it. For me, it's more comfortable to do the light switch, but that's your preference. Like I said, ergos, really, really nice. I hardly feel the pocket clip in this grip right here. I can choke up a little bit to get some fine work with my hands. This grip, very, very comfortable in this grip, even though I don't use it that often. And my favorite type of grip, I can use it like that, but being this is a thin stock and you have that swedge, it gets a little thinner, so it's not as comfortable to do that. But usually when I'm doing that, it's not any super pressured cuts. The grip that I never use, reverse grip, is super comfortable as well. That pocket clip actually gives you some extra meat to hold on to. And something else that I love the way we does is, see that radius right there? You have some nice thick titanium scales, and being that they have that thick scale, you can put that nice little chamfer right there with a little bit of texture on it, and you can easily, as you can see, you can easily get your finger in there to disengage that lock very, very easily. I love it. I could flip it. I mean, I can disengage that lock bar all day and it's not going to hurt my thumb like some knives do. Let's get a weight on this guy because it feels super, super duper light. Let's see where the balance point is. The balance point is right there, which is, it's pretty good. I'd rather be a little bit closer up right here, but as you can see, it's a little bit behind that forward finger choil. Not terrible though. As light as this knife is, it doesn't really matter to me. And as being as light as it is, let's see. I don't think I'll be able to show it if it is or not. I can't. No, I don't think it's milled on the inside. All my flashlights aren't nearby, but it doesn't seem to be milled out on the inside. But once you get this in hand, you'll know it doesn't really need it. Let's get a quick weight on this guy. 2.81 ounces. That is amazing. And this is about, I'd say, a mid-sized knife. Kind of that sweet spot for me. Let's get a quick size, and then we'll do some size comparisons. Let's get an overall length, just under 7.5 inches. You got about 3 inches of cutting edge, a little bit shy of 3 inches of cutting edge, about 3 1/4 blade length, and your grip area is a little bit over 3.5 inches. So perfect for me. While I got my calipers here, let's get blade stock, because I know this is a nice thin blade stock. 2.57 millimeters, and that is 0.100 inches. Very, very nice. And I think it read 0.017 behind the thinnest part of the cutting edge, which is awesome. Let's get some quick size comparisons, and then I'll go over some of my little nitpicks and gripes that I really had to think about. And we'll talk about some of my nitpicks before I show these knives. One of them is the price. Price, if I really like a design, sometimes I pay more than I should, and you're gonna have to decide on that. This coming in at $245, S35VN titanium frame lock. You do have the milled in pocket for the carbon fiber there. But all these knives I'm about to show you are all well under that price, almost $100 cheaper in some cases. You have the Spyderco Mantra. It's almost identical in size. You might have you have a little bit more handle, but you got more blade cutting edge with the Mantra. I don't know what the Mantras go for now, but I paid $160 for this. This is M4 steel titanium frame lock. These two are really comparable as far as performance goes. Another one that comes in far under it, the Kaiser Guru. And I'm showing this one for size because these two are pretty much identical in size. You might have a little bit more on the Guru, but your cutting performance is definitely better here. This one came out, I think, $180 when it first came out. This is one that I think is exactly the same size. The Spyderco Delica. Yeah, these two are, I think, identical in size, just so you can get a size reference. The steel and stuff, I mean, definitely different price. This is one that's a good bit cheaper and it's got some better blade steel in my eyes, but it's a good bit smaller. That is the Viper Lil at M390 titanium frame lock. So you got a little bit longer of everything here, S35VN with this inlay of carbon fiber. And let's see, two more. Got the Rat Model 2 in D2. It's a little bit smaller. And this is one of its siblings. And just in case you want to see the size difference, this is the Wii Rectifier. And as you can see, the rectifier is a good bit smaller, almost about a ½ inch smaller, it looks like. So there you go, if you want to know the difference between the size of that. So what are some of my little nitpicks and complaints? First off, I noticed, even though it's a huge plus for me with the rounding and stuff and smoothness of all the handle feel, it is a little slick in hand. I didn't really feel like it was going to jump out of my hands, but just to let you know, if your hands are slippery a lot, this might not be the best choice for you. But in hand with that choil, it locks in. I felt good in this grip right here. Something that I complained about a while back that I don't like the aesthetics. Like I said, you got the blue anodized hardware here. You got the blue all right here, everything blue, and then you just have the standard, that gray. That just, I don't know. I don't see that looking good, but that's just a nitpick. It's not hurting anything about the functionality of this blade. Also, I noticed a lot whenever I was closing it, it could definitely use a detent ball ramp, and whenever you're closing it, because sometimes it gets stuck right there if I don't press far enough, and then I just kind of got to push past it. But most of the time, if I let it hit my finger like that, I'm perfectly fine. But it's usually when I'm not paying attention, trying to do stuff fast. But it's not that big of a complaint. I had to be nitpicky because I thought this knife was pretty well executed. And last, this is a complaint for me. Y'all know my hands are beat up. It might not be a complaint for anybody else, but the jimping on the flipper tab is kind of sharp. It's been irritating my fingers, but my fingers are usually all pretty beat up. You can kind of see it's purple, and it's only, there's one jimp on here. Maybe it's just this knife. You can kind of see that light spot right there. That little area is kind of sharp on my fingers, so depending on how I flip it and how often I flip it, it somewhat bothered me. But all those issues have absolutely nothing to do with the functionality of the knife. The knife works great. It's made great. And everybody knows Wii's quality is top notch. The blade is centered. If I can show you this, dead on, perfectly centered. Nothing functionally to complain about on this knife. Now, as far as price, that's something that you're going to have to decide. I would have liked to see this knife come in around $200. I think that would have been priced, pretty competitively. But that said, if this knife appealed to me a little more, if it had like a clip point or something on it, something that I really love, I'm really picky right now because of Blade Show, I would, I'd pay the $245, but that's just me. I overpay on certain knives whenever I really, really like them. They have to get certain things dead on right for me to, look past other things, and that's something you have to decide. $245, like I showed you, this knife is well under. That's 180. This knife right here, like I said, the Mantra is probably the closest in performance cutting wise, and it's well under $245. Now that said, they haven't fixed the paper thin race washers on this one yet, so you know, and they're coming out with a different one, just kind of giving different options, you know, if you can't spend the $245. This one right here, it's a good bit smaller, but you got M390, you got crown spine on this one. I mean, not a whole lot different, just the M390, that's about it, but you got a smaller knife overall. Here's another one that I love this knife. It's a good bit bigger. You got your LC 200N, which I absolutely love this steel. Pretty much rust proof. Titanium frame lock, well under, well, I don't know. I'm not going to say well under. It might, with their price increase, I think this was like $220. I'm not sure. And, you know, was this worth it? I don't know. That's up to you to decide. So I hope I helped to try to give you an educated decision on whether this knife is for you or not. I will say I liked how this is kind of, I guess, somewhat of a new category for WE, because, you know, they usually have knives around this size, you know, this size or bigger. They have the full size knife, and this isn't a compact knife. I call it a subcompact. It's in that middle range between small and full size. And I think that's nice. I love to see that they shrunk down the blade stock on this guy. And when I say it was a dream to cut with, absolute dream. And I'll be reviewing this one here soon. This one is more something that I would go for. Just love that blade shape, but we'll talk about that one later. So I hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day. Make sure to click like, share, and subscribe. If you like my videos, please give them a big thumbs up. And I'll see you next time. Peace.